Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and it is the 6th of May, so we have missed Star Wars Day, May the 4th. I hope you're all well. I hope everybody is having a great start to the week. I hope you all had a great weekend. Remember, if you're new here, we stream every day at 11 o'clock Central European Time, 10 o'clock in the UK. We have tried to go through as much of the news as possible in an hour. So hopefully everything will be covered in an hour. Good morning to those of you that have tuned in, especially Diablisky, Hidden, Peter. I think Kishan is in chat. Good morning to you all. I hope you're all well. Remember, this is a two-way stream. If you have questions throughout the stream, ask. If you don't understand something, or you have questions or your own targets or whatever it might be, opinions on different crypto, ask in chat and we will try and answer them as best as possible. So what we're going to go through today, well, we're going to have a look at the markets. The markets are doing well at the minute. Is Bitcoin ready for the move up? That's what we're going to look at. There are some key targets I think we need to get to before we are safe. Now, what I mean by that is we've recovered from where we were last Thursday, Wednesday. Are we going to break up? Are we going to get rejected? Because remember, we can come straight back down as fast as we've gone up. So we're going to have a look at that in a minute. Is this the bottom for the altcoins? Are we going to see the altcoins moving up? Solana, can we get to $400 this year? We're going to look at that. Then we're going to look at an interesting piece. I noticed this a few days ago. Charles Hoskinson has reached out on Twitter to Bitcoin Cash, and I didn't see anything else about it until this article last night popped up, and that's the possibility of ADA and Bitcoin Cash having a collaboration, having some sort of connection. And this isn't the first blockchain that Cardano has reached out to. Remember, Charles is very progressive. He isn't one of these, butthurt crypto leaders that acts like a 12-year-old. He's trying to build a network. So he's going to be working, hopefully, with Bitcoin Cash, helping on them. Then we're going to finish with the events this week. What's going to happen this week in crypto? So we're going to go through all of that, hopefully, in an hour. Remember, smash the like button. If you're new here, say hello. If you're not new here, say hello. And what we're going to do first is we're going to get on to the charts and have a look at where we are, because a lot of people are happy. A lot of people are very happy that we're back over 60,000, and I am one of them. Market cap is back up to 2.39 trillion. Volume is down, as to be expected. It's the weekend. 51 billion over the weekend. Bitcoin dominance is still down a little bit, 53.3. ETH, 16%. My voice sounds a bit croaky today. I'm not sure why. Anyway, Bitcoin, there we go. We are over $65,000. Ethereum is back over $3,200. We've had a little bit of a pump in the last 20 minutes or so. I'm going to explain some things that have happened. Bull market support band. Prices where we need to get back into in the ranges. We're going to go through all of that. But Bitcoin and Ethereum are looking good. Remember, it's all well and good getting to 65.2, but we need to hold it. We could come straight back down to 63.8, then back down to 61.2, and then before you know it, we're back at 58,000. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just explaining Bitcoin moves either constantly or never. And at the minute, we're seeing a pump. Let's see where we go from that. A tea with lemon and honey will cure the croaky voice. It is. I think what it is, and this is going to sound really strange, I got some double cream yesterday, and I've had some double cream in my coffee this morning, and I think it's that. I think I've got dairy overload. I went to bed early last night because I knew I was streaming today, so I don't have any kind of hangover or anything, so I don't know what it is. Let's have a look at what's up then. 24 hours, WorldCoin 21%, EOS. I've made a video about EOS if you want to know about that project, 13.5%. Athena, I've also made a video about that, 13% up. Fetch, Jupiter is up, Singularity, double figures for a lot of coins today. I was going to do an article about AI today, but we've covered it quite a bit. WorldCoin is not my favorite coin, Peter. WorldCoin for me is an overreach of your personal privacy, if you like, and it shouldn't be in there. Good morning, Tariq. Good morning, Solo Sky. So Fetch is up, Jupiter is up. Remember, Jupiter, 150 is my fair value price. I'm going to keep telling you that because when it goes to 180 and 190, that's too high, and maybe look for a retracement. If it's below 150, look for it to move back to that price. Jupiter was at 94 cents when I was telling you about it. It's already moved up another 12%. Singularity is up. I've made a video about ASI, Artificial Super Intelligence, I think it stands for. You would go further and fare worse than looking at that video today, because it explains the merger of Agix, it explains the merger of Fetch, and it explains the merger of Oceans. That's happening in less than 3 weeks' time. Whiskey for the throat, bullish. It's a bit early in the morning for that, I'm afraid. I like WorldCoin as much as you like Flux. Absolutely. Totally agree. Good morning, Daniel. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all well. So a lot of gainers. Now I'm expecting to see some stable coins in the bottom. There we go. The stable coins, DAI, USDT, USDC, FDUSD. Why do the stable coins go to the worst performers? Because they don't move. They are solidly stable at $1, pegged to $1. So when the market moves up and we have a green day, the stable coins don't perform, so they go to the top. That's why the stable coins are up there. But it's a green day. We need to take green days as much as we can. So overall, the markets are looking healthy. I am going to cover some coins today. We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart. We're going to look at the Sol chart. And I think for the first time ever, we're going to look at the Bitcoin Cash chart, which I don't like Bitcoin Cash at all. So yeah, I'm going to look at that. Why is PAL AI moving 40% in the last couple of days? All AI coins have pumped. And when all AI coins pump, the lower cap coins will pump more. The same with meme coins. If there's a meme coin run like we saw, you'll see WIF or Bonk move 10%. You go further down, the lower cap meme coins, and they'll be moving 40 and 50%. So expect to see more returns on lower cap gems or lower cap coins within that industry. Now, all of AI is pumped. We've just shown you that, for example, Fetch AI, Singularity, two of my picks, they've moved the most in the last 24 hours. If they're moving 11 and 12%, and they've got a 1.3 or a $2 billion market cap, any coin that has a really low market cap is going to move 40 or 50%. And on the whole, the majority of that move is speculation. Because if I was in AI, I've got my AI coins, but if I was looking to move into AI, the first place I would look would be into the slightly larger cap coins first. They're your safest bets. Now, a few X files for you this morning. So, Lark Davis, there are only 21 million Bitcoins. This is a reminder. 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. Out of those, 4 million, including 1 million held by Satoshi, are likely lost forever. Some people suggest that there's only ever going to be 16 million Bitcoin because they think about 4 million are lost. And 1 million for Satoshi, that leaves 16 million. That's that's 8 billion people with 16 million Bitcoin. I don't even want to work the math on that, but it's certainly nowhere near 1 or 0.1 each. So have a look at that. Conquistador, Jasmy. I'll have a look at Jasmy at the end of the show if I have time. So remember, if you can become a whole coiner, that should be your first goal. If you are a long way from a whole coiner because it's now at $65,000, look to get 1/100th of a Bitcoin. 1/100th of a Bitcoin will cost you $650. If you can manage to go further, get 0.1 of a Bitcoin. Remember, the more people that come on board, the more people that get adopted or to Bitcoin, the more institutions, everything comes on board, the less Bitcoin there is to go around. Now, there is a new theme in meme coins, which I know Peter will love, and that is we've gone from cat, dog, lizard coins. We've moved up to country and city coins. So there are a load more meme coins coming on board. I've seen London, I've seen Paris, I've seen USA coin. We've obviously covered USA coin on the channel. So look out for this new wave and be careful with meme coins. Most of them will go to zero, but the trend now is to go after countries and cities. So like I said, London coin I might look at today. I don't know. I might cover it and see where it goes. You won't make peanuts if Bitcoin goes to $4.8 million and you buy 100th of the Bitcoin. That's a considerable move up from here. That's 100x. No, it's an 80x. So it can be done. You just need patience in this market. It's still brand new. So then, Dan crypto trades. Previous cycle all-time highs tend to slow pace and make Bitcoin stall for some weeks. The moment they do properly break, we tend to see a fast expansion higher. Now, bottom right-hand corner, you will see my $74,000 target for Bitcoin. Why? Previous all-time high was 69,000. We reached 73,800 in February or March, whenever it was. So 74,000, once we get to that, we go to price discovery, we will see quick moves up. That's what we want to see. And then we can start to look at where the sell orders are. Are they at 79? Are they at 89? Are they at $99,000? And we need to get there. Remember last week or the week before when everybody was feeling sad, we're at $58,000 and I said, don't worry, the market can move really quickly and we can be there next week. Well, we've gone from 57 to 65,000 in the space of a week. That's an $8,000 move. Another $8,000 move from here puts us at 73.2. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. What I'm saying is when the market decides it's going to move, it moves, and it moves quickly. We can have periods of 6 months in Bitcoin where nothing happens, where we flatline. And that's what I think is going to happen over the summer, by the way. July and August, I'm expecting no movement. I'm expecting people to be bored out of the market. Good morning, Kabir. Welcome to the stream. Peter is going to make his own meme coin and call it Flux. That's a good idea. You probably make a lot of money out of that. So then, this actually answers your question about PAALAI, P-A-A-L-A-I. This, again, was Dan Crypto Trades last night. He posted up, AI coins are hot again. Good morning, Reza. FET, Ocean, Agix, why are those three up in parallel? Because they're going to merge. I've made a video about it on Saturday explaining the date and what's going to happen and what I think is going to happen to the coin. I think the sum of the whole is greater than the parts. Good morning, Janet. So look at these coins. I think some of these are going to move. Not necessarily some of these down here, especially WorldCoin. Don't want that to move in the slightest. But there you go. You can't have everything. And the final one of the day, and I have a new mouse, by the way, so I am moving a tad less fluent today. So this was to do with last week. You had the Fed decide that they weren't going to move. Now, I didn't get it for this because that's irrelevant. I got it for this. This is, if I can just zoom out a little bit, an explanation of the problem that Chairman Powell has. Lower rates, economy is weak, prints money, QE. Then inflation goes up. What happens then? You have to raise rates. He expects a soft landing. We're not going to get it. What happens then? We go into a recession. What do? You lower rates. It's a vicious cycle. And that is where Chairman Powell is at this moment in time, in a vicious cycle. He is going to end up overseeing a massive crash in America if he is not careful. And I know people are not expecting that because, you know, we've been talking about a soft landing. But let's be fair. America has been saying that inflation is transitionary for the last 2 years, and it hasn't been. So don't believe everything they say. So here's the next price target for Bitcoin as Bitcoin repeats previous bull market pattern. Crypto analyst says, now I've got my own target. Let's see what this lady or gentleman has to say once we get rid of these adverts. A widely followed crypto analyst is laying out his bull market price for Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin is beginning to mirror its previous cycle. TechDev, who I also follow, said that it is patterning against the 2021 cycle. Using Elliott wave theory, which suggests that an asset goes through bullish impulses in 5 main waves, he predicts the impulsive structure of the last 1.5 years, says $90,000 to $100,000 is next. And yes, I think Brogan has a target of I believe it's $94,000 for Bitcoin. And again, I know it's hard to explain when we're at 65 and when we're at 57. I get that. And obviously don't forget that, you know, it takes more money to move Bitcoin, except when it's a scarce product and nobody is selling and there isn't being enough produced, then the price can move. So that $100,000 is his target. Bitcoin's 2-month candle 3 parabolic accelerations. I suspect this next 2-month candle will be as tall as November 2020. That is interesting. Kabir has asked, how can these Bitcoin past cycles keep repeating with different investors coming into Bitcoin now? That is a very good question. Now, what you have to remember is, if you ignore who's buying Bitcoin and you look at the simple supply, 4 years ago, the supply of Bitcoin was 1,800 per day. Then the halving happened and it went to 900 per day. And this cycle, it's gone from 900 to 450 per day. That's it. Now, the miners, which people don't understand, they don't sell all of their Bitcoin. So you get maybe 300 new Bitcoin a day coming to the market. Maybe 6 months ago, out of the 900, you had 800 coming to the market every day. Now, you can say the same thing about the black swans that happen. So if you look at the pandemic that we had, that was a black swan. If you go back 8 years, you've had another black swan. You get black swans, and they do fall into cycles as well as everything else. So ignore who is buying and look at what is being sold, because it doesn't matter who comes through the door to buy. What matters is how many you have to sell and who is selling. And the issue is that, and again, there's a ticking, I can't say the word, but there's a ticking time bomb going on. And that is the amount of crypto, especially Bitcoin, on exchanges is falling rapidly. Now, the demand, going back to the new institutional investors, the demand of people coming in and buying Bitcoin, if it stays the same every single cycle, the price will go up because there's less to buy. So that's one element of it. The demand doesn't have to change over 4 years for the price to go up because the supply halves. And that demand on a limited supply pushes the price up. Now, what we have now is we have a different bullish setup where we now have institutional buyers. And that's different. And it's different the same way it was different 4 years ago when we had different people coming into crypto. And 4 years ago, we had different people coming in then as well. So it's a different crowd, but this crowd are very hungry. And what I mean by that is, where we were seeing 3,000 Bitcoin a day, 3,000 Bitcoin a week disappearing from exchanges, we're now seeing 10 and 12,000 Bitcoin disappearing from exchanges. There's 1.2 million Bitcoin on exchanges. If you're losing 200,000 a month, for argument's sake, sorry, not 200,000 a month, 10,000 a week, 40,000 a month, okay? Over 10 months, that's 400,000 gone. That's a third of all the Bitcoin on exchanges gone in less than a year. This is the ticking time bun. Okay, just imagine a bun with a cherry on top that's going to explode, a ticking time bomb. That's where we are, and that's why I say ignore noise. We are going to run out of Bitcoin, and we're not going to get to the point where there's zero, because at a certain price people will sell. And what I've said before on this channel is the price of Bitcoin will go up to the point where people will sell it. Now that could be 100,000, that could be 200,000, that could be $1 million. But at some point, supply will meet demand, and that's just how it works. Good morning, Fran. Good morning, Shorties Crypto. Now, the thing about ADA is it's all staked, Peter. So you have coins with billions of tokens, but forget the billions of tokens. Look at the price. 74% of ADA is staked. There's only 26% in circulation. So the circulating supply, or the amount that's available on exchanges, is what matters. The same with Bitcoin. If there are 15 million Bitcoin in circulation, we're going to have a problem getting the price up. But we don't. We have 1.2 million Bitcoin in circulation, and we have 13.8 million hidden away, squirreled away by whoever and sundry. So it's about the amount that you can buy. You could have 1 trillion tokens on a coin, but if there's only 1 million of them on all of the exchanges to buy, the price is going to skyrocket because there's no supply. So it doesn't matter about the number of tokens you have, it matters about the amount on exchanges that you are able to trade. Because if a whale comes in and that whale buys 100,000 Bitcoin today, and then another whale comes in a month's time and buys another 100,000 Bitcoin. If Dubai buys 200,000 Bitcoin, when you've got 1.2 million in supply, that's a massive hammer blow to the supply. With ADA, if somebody comes in and buys $10 million worth of ADA, it doesn't matter about the number, it matters about the circulating supply. If there isn't enough circulating supply, it will push the price up. And that's what I'm saying. If you've got these meme coins where it's 100% in circulation and they're not staked, it's going to be hard for the price to pump up. Bonk has introduced a staking platform. Billions of Bonk are now staked. The price is going up. It's taking the coins off the market that is causing prices to go up, not the amount that is on exchanges against the total supply. It's the amount on exchanges compared to what's staked. If it has a huge volume staked, it reduces the amount in distribution and that pushes the price up. So that's how you look at it. Other altcoins that just copy Bitcoin cycles makes no sense. The reason that altcoins go up and the reason that altcoins go down against Bitcoin is because when Bitcoin weakens, altcoins crash and people sell into Bitcoin, which holds the price of Bitcoin up. When Bitcoin rips and people take profit, they don't take profit to US dollars. They will take profits to alts like Ethereum and Solana, and that pumps them. So you've got to remember, Bitcoin is 53% of all of crypto. If Bitcoin rips, the altcoins will follow because people sell the Bitcoin in profit to buy alts, and those alts then pump. Bitcoin weakens, they sell the alts back into Bitcoin. Remember, it's about getting as many Satoshis as possible. So they use the alts to propel Bitcoin up. When Bitcoin goes up, they sell back into the altcoins. It's a cycle, and that's how it all works. So the reason the alts follow Bitcoin is because they are tied to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is over half the market. It is the dominant bear in the forest. When that bear has finished eating the salmon and walks away, then all the other little tiny bears and all the other animals can come and eat the rest of the salmon. But Bitcoin rules the forest. And when Bitcoin is finished eating, that's when the other alts can grow stronger. But when they grow stronger, the bear comes back, starts eating more salmon, they go away, bear gets bigger. It's just a simple cycle. Now then, let's have a look at the markets. Let's have a little look. Bonk. I'm not saying Bonk is a good buy. I'm saying that Bonk holds its value because it's sucked so many coins out of the market. There's not so many in circulating display. Here's another example. Arbitrum released 74% of its tokens in one day. The price went from $2.16 to 99 cents and 90 cents because it dumped 3 times the amount of coins that were in circulation. It dumped them onto the market and it suppressed the price. And it's going to take a long time for Arbitrum to recover from that. But that's what happens. Now, this is important. I am not going to put the price of Bitcoin on the screen because it is irrelevant. And then I will have a bigger screen to show you. So this is the Bitcoin chart, which I did some special analysis on. So let's get rid of this. Now, I said that Bitcoin needed to come down and touch the bull market support band. And that is this moving average here. Now, on some exchanges, we have touched the bull market support band. On other exchanges, we didn't. So for the sake of arguments, we have. Now, what does that mean? It means we bounced off it. We found support at the moving average. Now, look what happens when we leave this. We go up. That could technically also be called a bounce, even though a lot of people deny it. We go up. So what do I see happening for Bitcoin? Well, we did go up, but we went up very quickly and we've recovered. Now the issue for me is this line. This is about $66,000. When I was saying at the bottom of the screen, the theme for today is keep it up, Bitcoin. Now, the reason is we could get rejected here. If we get rejected, there's no reason for us not to come hurtling back down again, because this was quite a nasty channel that we were in. And we broke out. So the key for me is not to be at 65.3, 65.5 and be happy with that. The key for me is to break $66,000. That for me is critical. We broke out of this downward channel here on Friday, very late on Friday we broke out, and we've had 3 days of moving up. So we've done it. We've broken the downward channel. Now, we might not come crashing down. We might do this. And we might retest 63,000 and then move back up. But number one, we've broken out of this downward channel. Great news. But number two, we need to get back up towards 66,000. I know we're at 65.3. Great. Another 1% and we're going to be testing 66,000, and then we can sigh a big sigh of relief if we get up, because then we get back into this band 66 to 68 and then we can start to look up. Remember, my line that we need to get to start carrying on is there. Now I've got 74,000 on the chart. Fair enough. It's actually 73.8, but 74, what's $200 between friends? So we need to do this. We've broken out of this. Some people, I think it could have been a Wyckoff. I think it came down here. I think we bounced off the bottom of the Wyckoff and we broke out. Maybe that's the case. But let's see, 66,000, or we're going to come down again. That's the good news. The good news is we're not far away from 66,000. Not the good news we're going to come down. Now back down here, the bull market support band is, I don't think it's been updated yet actually, or is it? It's 56.7. So 56.7 is where the bull market support band is now. we can quite easily come back down to that, but I don't think we are. Again, last week I was 60-40 on a move up. Then on Friday, I think I was 65-70% positive on a move up. Now, I think I'm 75% certain we're going to break 66,000, but we've had a big move up in a very short space of time. And again, like I say, maybe we just don't have enough strength. Maybe we come back down and then we do that. That's a possibility. The RSI, remember, this is the daily, by the way. The RSI is coming back up. And I did say on the charts on Thursday or Friday, every time we come down, what do? On the RSI, we come down and then we shoot back up. In fact, the drawing is still there. This is what I drew on Friday, maybe. I said every time the RSI is down here, we move up. And we've done it on all previous occasions, and we've done it now. So maybe we've got some more legs, get above 60,000. If we're on the show tomorrow and we're at 66.5, I will be over the moon. But let's get there. Grayscale had its first positive flow. 65 million, I think, went into Grayscale on Friday. Massively bullish news again. So maybe we've had our 20% dip. Now, let's us move on very quickly. I think we're not doing very well for time. We're not doing very well for time today, I'm afraid. Kabir, you are absolutely correct. Bitcoin ETF's money doesn't come into alt markets. That is absolutely true. But what does come into alt markets is more ETFs. So when you think long term, don't think short term. When you think long term, think about the fact that we are going to get an Ethereum ETF maybe next year. So we're going to have an Ethereum ETF possibly in March next year. Remember, the bull run, some people say next April, some people say next summer. I think it's going to be October, November, around about then. Now, if we get an Ethereum ETF in next March, next April, then that is going to spur the market on, because it's 15% of the market. It's going to give the market another kick up. So we don't, and I have said that point before, by the way. It's not that I've not. I've said what happens because these ETFs are now starting to separate Bitcoin from the market. But on a longer term, you're going to end up with an Ethereum ETF, a Bitcoin ETF. Now, I do not want to see 20 different ETFs for different coins. What I want to see is an altcoin ETF or a layer 1 ETF. And that would be an ETF that has XRP, BNB, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, whatever the coins you want. I'd want to see that as the next ETF, not a Cardano ETF and an XRP ETF, because it does dilute, and I don't like the idea of it, because people know Bitcoin, people know Ethereum, people don't really know Avalanche, people don't really know Cardano. So offering them ETFs in these products they've never heard of, look at other ETFs, gold, silver, platinum, you've all heard of them. Retail, even healthcare ETFs, you know them all. If I said to you, are you going to invest in an Optimism and Arbitrum ETF, you're going to have no idea what we're talking about. So we've got to be careful that we don't end up with 50 different ETFs, because it's like going into a restaurant and seeing 50 meals and you've only ever heard of one, and that one you've heard of is Bitcoin, which is burger and chips. So you go and eat the burger and chips because you've got no idea what the rest of them are. Now, altcoins then. Analyst says bottom is in for altcoin markets, predicts crypto rally following weak economic data. Let me have a little look at chat. Let's see how everything is going. Going quite well today. So Vanderpop, we love Vanderpop on this channel. 716,000 followers on his social media platform. He has been talking about the weak activity. Why is that good for Bitcoin? Because the economy weakening is good for Bitcoin, believe it or not. So interest rates need to come down, yes, because the money printing will be turned on. But we like unemployment. We like cooling real estate markets. We like all of these things. So terrible economic data means that the DXY goes down. The DXY is the US dollar index. That's how strong is the American dollar compared to the euro, the pound, the yen, all of the other currencies. The case for quantitative easing and rate cuts will increase, and therefore risk on assets rally. So Bitcoin is still, even though we call it an inflation hedge, we know that the markets don't. It's still a very risky asset. So everything looking towards a weak dollar pumps the price of Bitcoin. FOMC was the low for the markets, and the altcoin bull run has started. The total altcoin market cap generally has seen the bottom of this correction. 880 to 920 billion is the area where it's going to stabilize. Now, if we talk about Pentoshi, which we covered on Saturday, one of the things that people need to understand is that Pentoshi thinks that the altcoin market isn't going to go above 2.2 trillion this cycle. Now, if we're at 900 billion, he is predicting only another 150% for the altcoin market this bull run. That's what he is predicting. I think, based on 100 articles that I've read and charts that I've seen, I think that Bitcoin and the crypto market will go to somewhere between 6 and 10 trillion. Now, let's take 6 trillion, for example, as the market top. If Bitcoin is 50% of the market, then Bitcoin will be a $3 trillion asset. So that gives us a $130,000 Bitcoin, for argument's sake. But that also means that there's 3 trillion left to go into the altcoin market. That does include Ethereum, yes. Now, that would mean a 3 to 4x across the board, and that's important. It's not going to go into every other crypto asset the same. You're going to have your coins that underperform and your coins that overperform. So if you said to me, for example, Solana or Litecoin, well, for me, Solana is going to outperform Litecoin. So more of that 3 or 4x will go into Solana than it will into Litecoin. Some coins are going to perform better than others. That's why potentially that 4x that we're going to see from here is the average the market is going to move up, not specific assets. Retail isn't even in the markets while Bitcoin is around all-time highs. When will they come back? It will probably be after this summer when altcoins start to lift off. Again, the summer lull is where the traders, they go away, they go on holiday, they don't come back. And that's the key. They go away in July and August, they come back in September. So as I said a few days ago, they're not going to come back in September and we're going to have a $250,000 Bitcoin. They're going to come back in September and then they'll have maybe 2 months, October and November, where the FOMO and the hype will really kick in. And that's where we need to see. Now, I've said before that we're going to make a dollar cost average stream where we dollar cost average out. And the one exception I've got at the minute is I don't know if I'm going to sell my Bitcoin. I don't know, because I can't predict 15, 18 months into the future. I have a rough idea of where the market's going to go, but I don't know, the same way that you don't know. So my educated guess is November, but I will then make a decision in August and September as to where and what I'm going to do with my Bitcoin. The alts I'm going to dollar cost average out of when we get to the end of the summer, beginning of winter. That period of time is when I'm going to start to sell. If we see a horrific run up, and I don't mean horrific in a negative way, I mean God candles every day, and that happens in April next year, then I'm wrong and it's not November and it's April, and then I will adjust accordingly. You have to have a plan, but that plan needs to adapt to the market. If we get a new president of America and he is pro-Bitcoin and he comes in and puts a pro-crypto head of the SEC in place, that happens in February, March. That's why I don't think the top of the bull cycle is going to be April. It's too soon. I think 6 months on from the appointment of the new president would take us from February, it would take us to the end of August. March may be the appointment of the new head of the SEC, that takes us to September. So I think we're going to see the end of the year, not the beginning of the year. And I don't know why people are predicting the beginning of the year, when that's when we're going to get the new president, the new head of the SEC, a new direction for crypto in America. We may see, like we did in last cycle, we might see 2 tops. We might see an April top and then a November top. I don't know. but I just think April's too soon to the appointment of the President of America for me to say it's going to be April. So altcoins he thinks will happen after the summer. I tend to agree. What I am going to do now is move on to talk about a specific coin, which is Solana. And again, I am always keeping an open mind as to what layer ones are going to be attractive to retail. But I will say this, every day that goes by, Solana gets closer and closer to being the retail choice for crypto. Let me have a look in chat. 1 second. Remember, if you're new here, smash the like button, say hello in chat. Different blockchains are competitors and choose to be different from each other to differentiate from each other and have different risks. So if you look at Polygon, it's creating what's called an AG layer. An AG layer is shared liquidity amongst different blockchains. Optimism, Arbitrum, Matic, and then any other layer ones or layer twos. Why is that important? Because you are correct. If you get into a lift with me and we go to the 4th floor of a building, if you cannot explain that project or blockchain to me in 3 flights in a lift, then you shouldn't be holding that coin. You need to fully understand in your head why you hold that coin. If you can't, then you need to consider what altcoins you're holding. Have you got 50 altcoins in your bags? Have you got 50 meme coins and no layer ones? You need to think about, if you don't understand what it does, why are you invested in it? You know, Warren Buffett always talks about buying stocks and shares in products that you like. Talking of Warren Buffett, he's got 188 billion in cash sitting on the sidelines. So I think he's predicting that there's going to be a stock market crash in America. That's just my hunch. Because the last time he did it, what I remember was 2008, and he bought shares, was it in Goldman Sachs? And then he lent them $2 billion at 10% per year interest or something like that. I mean, he's sitting on cash. Why is Warren Buffett sitting on cash? That's the question to ask yourself. Why would he hold cash? He'd hold cash to buy. But he's not going to buy the top, he's going to buy the bottom. So is he waiting for a market crash? That's something else to bear in mind. So the fair price for Solana should be over $400. We know that the market thinks the fair price is over $400 because if you look at the Grayscale Solana Trust, the average price there is about $450. Now what that means is institutional investors are buying Solana at $450. They're just buying it through Grayscale. So they think it's $450. We're currently at $150. So if you look at the pent-up demand for Solana that's on the sidelines, you could argue maybe then that Solana should have an ETF because that would put the price to $450 at this moment in time. Who knows? So leading experts are pointing to Solana's potential with an eye-catching valuation, $400, but that's not all. Other cryptocurrencies are poised to make a splash. This article explores. So we don't look at these coins because this is a paid article and they clearly throw things like this in to make you go and look it up. I'm not going to give it any attention. Aptos is cooling, Optimism is bullish, Jupiter is, for me, bullish, Starknet, again, I hold a little bit of Starknet, I got airdropped it. Top analysts suggest that Solana's fair value exceeds $400, however, Apt, OPG and Stark are worth watching. So what I would do is I would certainly be looking at Optimism, certainly look at Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest DEX in the market now by volume, by number of wallets using it. It's now the number one. The value of that project does not reflect its metrics, and that goes for Solana as well. I'll explain what I mean in a second. Let me bring the chart up for Solana. When you look at Ethereum and you compare it to Solana, and I've been doing this now for such a time that I've seen the change happen before my eyes. Solana used to trail Ethereum on everything pretty much, apart from number of transactions. Now, pick any metric and then compare Solana to Ethereum. NFT marketplaces or NFT volume, Solana is number one. DeFi, Solana is number one. Liquidity in stablecoins, Ethereum is number one. Transactional volume, wallets created, wallets being used, Solana, Solana, Solana. Now, I am not saying Ethereum is dead. As I've said before, it is going to be the institutional blockchain. That's what it should be doing because it's the best, longest. It has its faults, but it's the most secure and reliable blockchain. Solana isn't, but it's going to get retail, and that's what you need to understand. Where are all the meme coins on Solana? When was the last time you saw an ERC20 meme coin do exceptionally well? They haven't, because they're on Solana. So Solana has the NFTs that appeals to retail. Solana has meme coins that appeals to retail. Solana has Camino Finance, Meteora, MarginFi appeals to retail. There's nothing on Ethereum that appeals to retail. It's too expensive. Now, Matic is a different thing. Matic is a layer 2. But Solana, you should be looking at it. If you don't hold any, you should certainly go and look at it. Can you please quickly chart RLC and a little opinion on it? I'd appreciate it. I will do that after we've got to... What I'll do is I'll get rid of the events this week because there aren't any, and I'll have a look at RLC. These different chains can't be clumped into a single ETF like a layer 1 ETF. Absolutely they can. Yes, of course they can. The way an ETF works is if it's a spot ETF, that spot ETF needs to hold those assets. So what it will have is it will have a portfolio breakdown. 30% in Ethereum, 30% in Solana, 10% in 4 other coins. They will go out and hold 30%, 30%, 10, 10, 10, 10. So they'll buy 30% in Ethereum, 30% in Solana. So you come along and you've got $1,000 and you buy $1,000 of a multi-crypto asset ETF. That $1,000 gives you roughly $300 of Ethereum, $300 of Solana, and 4 lots of $100 of 4 different coins. That's how an ETF works. It can hold multiple assets. That's for funds. They can do that. When you look at what they have in the UK, which is an ETN, which is an exchange traded note, that's a single asset. But ETFs can hold multiple assets, or they were last time I checked anyway. The same as trusts, they can all hold multiple assets. More high we can see in Solana. Now, again, with Solana, let me very quickly show you. Now, remember we said that Bitcoin was the only asset that hadn't touched its bull market support band, and now it had. Look at Solana. It's bounced off this line constantly. We've broken, and now we're back above it. This line is just a trend line. It's nothing official or anything like that. It's just a trend line that I found. So where can Solana go next? Well, again, depends on Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin doesn't wet the bed, the next target for me is 174. That's the next target for me. We have 148, we've broken. But look, over here, you can see it on the screen, we have a gap in the volume profile, and that goes up to about $174. So I'm not saying we're going to 174, but that would be a good price target for Solana. That would give it a 10, what is that, 30, 20, that would give it a 15% pump. If we come down, then 132 is the target. In fact, we can probably get rid of some of these lines now. So the bull market support band, the tip of it is now $131 for Solana. We did come down and we did test it, and we have broken up. So we are now in we're in the happy space, or the happy place for Solana. We did say, remember, touching the bull market support band, it's like, imagine that you are floating in space around the International Space Station, and you start to float out towards space, and you don't test your line, and you're just floating around in space, and all of a sudden you panic. What happens? You come all the way back to the space station because you don't know where you're going and you've panicked. But imagine every move up, every retest of this line is you checking that your tether to the space station is secure. It's like a little kid that falls over in the playground. If it goes too far, that's its mum. This is the mum. This is the baby. What happens if the baby gets too far away from the mother? The baby comes back to the mother. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. That is all we need to worry about, for me, is watching the bull market support band and setting prices where if we've gone too far, we know we're going to retest it. Now, we should have a period of time, maybe this period of time, which takes us to August, where we don't have to touch it again, because we've got May, June, July, 3 months we might not have to touch it again. That could put us above $200. It could put us at 180. It could put us at 220, but we can move up now, because the other thing is the mother slowly follows the baby along here. So as we do move up, we don't have to run as far back as we did, because we're moving up. Remember, this is the moving average. This is the moving average of the price of Solana. And as the price of Solana goes up, if you go back, so does the mother. I mean, look at where the mother was back here. The mother was at $27 in November. Now, the mother is at $132 in May. So the mother does follow the chart quite well. Anyway, so Solana for me, $174 would be my target. I don't see why we can't get there or why we won't get there. Now, let's have a quick look at ADA and Bitcoin Cash. Remember, I'm not a fan of Bitcoin Cash. I am not a fan of it at all. Maybe it would be a great idea to go all in on Sol. Seems like a safe bet, even for long term, for years to come. The issue for me is you should never go all in on anything. Solana was too closely attached to FTX, and when FTX crashed, the price of Solana went to $12. And you can pick other examples. So, for example, meme coins at the minute. If meme coins imploded tomorrow, it would seriously damage Solana. Solana would seriously take a big kick in the nuts. So there's always threats to each chain. And that's why we do our $15,000 to $100,000 and then $1 million portfolio, is to give you a combination of assets that over the long term should appreciate in value. So Ethereum, Bitcoin, certainly. I don't have Solana in that one actually, but I do have ICP. I've swapped some of my Algorand for NEAR because I think AI needs a bit more allocation in it. We've got XRP in there, and they're long-term holds because XRP is going to be, it's going to be the blockchain of the bank, the banking blockchain. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but if you hold that coin in the future, it's going to appreciate a lot in value. Solana is going to be huge, but things can happen to change that opinion. It could have a huge fault and come crashing down. That's why you have to spread your risk a little bit. So Cardano founder Charles has hinted at teaming up with Bitcoin Cash. Now, I don't like Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to be honest, I don't cover it on the channel. We have got a chart, but I don't like it. On May the 4th, I read this post asking people what they thought about Cardano partnering with Bitcoin Cash to boost its performance using tech like proof of useful work, non-interactive proofs of proof of work, which is Nipopo, and Ergo Tech. In his opinion, such upgrades could make BCA chains can tap into each other's tech, and I think that's a great idea. The AG layer created by Polygon is going to enable other blockchains. They need to work together, stop arguing in the playground, create a united force, and move forward. Don't argue. At the time the poll still had 6 days to run, 66% wanted to see a Bitcoin Cash and Cardano partnership. A day before putting up the poll, Hodgkinson took to X asking members of the Bitcoin Cash community to clue him in on what was going on in the development side. I'm curious about Bitcoin Cash's roadmap. Can anyone from the Bitcoin Cash community point me what is happening? So his interest comes in BCH, comes on the heels of an altercation with MicroStrategy chairman and Bitcoin maximalist Michael Saylor. The difference in opinion cropped up after Saylor said that Cardano, Solana, Ripple and BNB will be classified as unregistered securities by the Securities and Exchange Commission in the summer. Now, this has already gone through the court. and Ripple have won. If you buy XRP anywhere in the world, according to America, it is not considered a security. Important fact. So already Saylor is wrong in his assertion, but why is he saying it? Because he holds 210,000 Bitcoin. He's trying to build a Bitcoin finance product. He was talking to rich non-crypto people. He was selling them Bitcoin. Now, you're not going to go in to sell somebody your car and extol the virtues of other brands of car, are you? You're not going to go and sell a Tesla and say, but hang on a minute, that Ferrari's really good and that Porsche's really good. No, you're going to sell him a Tesla. He's not going to go into a Bitcoin conference and tell people that there's any benefit in holding Cardano or Solana or BNB. He's not, and why would he? So think about why he's saying, look at the context of why people say things. I say this all the time. Why does Jamie Dimon bash Bitcoin? To drive the price down so they can buy more. It's simple. They think you're an idiot. That's what they think. Saylor also reportedly claimed that such altcoins will never be accepted by Wall Street in the manner Bitcoin has following the SEC's approval. He is also wrong on this. Wall Street cares about profit. Profit above all else. Secondly comes risk. What is the risk associated with making that profit? If there is a low risk and a high reward, they will go after it. Why is BlackRock building on Ethereum if, as Saylor quite rightly points out, Wall Street will never accept them? Ethereum is going to become the blockchain of Wall Street. He doesn't want to say that because he wants the money for Bitcoin. The higher the value of Bitcoin, the more worth his business has, and the more Bitcoin gets to the point where he wants it to become a financial tool. So we can go on about this. What does he say here? Bitcoiners, why is Charles attacking Bitcoin? Altcoiners are so toxic. Bitcoin Maxi, literally everything but Bitcoin is illegal and a scam. Absolutely, Charles. I don't agree with Charles on everything he says, but I agree with him on that. Can Polygon 10x? I think Polygon can do really well. I don't know about a 10x. I think $5 is a good price for Polygon. I don't know what it is now today, 75 cents. So what's that? 7x maybe for Polygon. You've got to look at the market cap. This is really important. I go on about this all the time. The market cap of that coin is important. If you say to me that Solana is going to go to $3,000 and that gives it a $300 billion market cap, then I think that's going to be a tight squeeze. If you say it's going to get to $1,000 and that gives it, I don't know, $100 million market cap, $100 billion market cap, then yeah, I'd be on side with that. So again, the amount of money that has to come in to push the price up it needs to be there. So that was Charles. We're going to look at the Bitcoin cash chart, which we don't normally do. And we don't normally do it because I think it's trash. Now, I have drawn a very quick fib, which goes back. Now, why has it had this price movement? It's had this price movement because it's been listed on is it Prometheus have listed it in America. Now, Prometheus have listed about 5 tokens for you to trade. And one of them was Bitcoin Cash. Now, Bitcoin Cash, for me, it doesn't even have a value of $230. It's a waste of time. Okay, I don't value it. I don't rate it. I don't see the point of it. It's a split off Bitcoin, but it has now got itself a marketplace in America and people can trade in it. So I have to then treat it with some level of respect. So it's come up to this fib level, which is the same as my point, which is $705. That's where it's peaked out. What did it then do? It's come down, and yet again, it has touched, it has touched the bull market support band yet again. So what happens when it touches the bull market support band? It should move back up. So it could get back up to $575. It could get back up to, it's unlikely to get to $700 unless Bitcoin really pumps. And then maybe we'll see some chop before eventually breaking out. But again, and I don't want to say this because Tariq won't like me, I categorize Bitcoin Cash in the same breath as I categorize Litecoin. It's a good project, but I don't see why anybody would use it. I don't see anybody talking about it. It hasn't got an NFT or meme coins. It hasn't got anything going for it that I can see. It was supposed to be the digital money version of Bitcoin. It's supposed to be fast, effective, people are going to use it. It never got adopted. It's just a split from Bitcoin. So I don't see the value in it. I'm never going to hold Bitcoin Cash. I did receive Bitcoin Cash. When I held Bitcoin, they airdropped Bitcoin Cash to people. I sold it straight away. Simple as. So not a fan of Bitcoin Cash at all, but you have to honour the fact that it's held some of these key levels down here. It was in the danger zone. It broke up on the news. It came and retested the bull market support band. It's stuck at this level. If it breaks this level, it will go up to here. And the news about Cardano will make it even more bullish. So maybe we'll see $600 again. But again, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of it at all. Now then, how long do we have left? It's exactly 12 o'clock. We have got to the end of the show. Now, is this the right coin? iExec RLC. That's the question. So if we run, we're not going to go to that high. That's absolutely ridiculous. If we run, let's say this price level down here. So we're going to run our fib from the previous price. Why don't I use the top price there? Because that is clearly a scam candle or a ridiculous pump candle, which we're never going to include. It will invalidate everything I'm looking at. So RLC, if this is the right RLC that's been asked for. Let's move it along here a little bit. Okay. So again, with a lot of these coins, this was the area to buy that coin, which would have been about $1.30, $1.50, around that figure. Now, what happened with this coin? This is actually a really good example of breaking above the bull market support band, testing it, coming up, testing it, rocketing up here, and guess what? We just tested it again. So where do I think we're going to go? I think we could probably go back towards this area here, which is about 370. There's a little bit of a volume area over here. So I think this is a positive chart for me. Again, look at the RSI, came down to the same point here, at that point here, and this point here, we both ripped. So RLC for me looks a good coin. The chart looks good. Again, I'm not going to give you advice to buy anything. And if Bitcoin crashes, then everything I'm saying is invalidated. If Bitcoin dumps, everything is going to go with it. If there's bad news, then there's bad news and we're not going to see it. But that, let's put this in. I've gone to the daily now. 393. Around that figure, anything above. So if we break this 318, I think we will get above this fib level at 377 and go to 396. And the challenge, again, back here, is to get above 463. So there are your prices for RLC, if that's the right coin. If you bought it in Feb, so you would have got it hopefully about there. Did you buy it at the beginning of Feb or the end of Feb? Irrespective, I think in the next 4 to 6 weeks, it'll get back above the price. If you bought it here, then we could see that price this week. If you bought it here, you're in profits. And if you are in profits, one thing to bear in mind with a lot of these altcoins is consider taking profits along the way. That's what I would do. If this is outperforming Bitcoin, consider taking profits into Bitcoin. But that will be the end. So you would have bought about there. So you're not a million miles. So you bought at that fib level, that's not bad. Again, remember, we're at the beginning. The halving was the end of the beginning. Remember that. So the halving that happened on April the 20th was the end of the beginning. So if I do this, so that line there was the end of the beginning. All of this was accumulation. Maybe not so much the hype about the ETF, I will give you that. But everything before then was accumulation. You are now in the bull run, or the beginnings of the bull run. It might not start 6 months from now in October, but it's going to start soon. If you've bought this coin and you believe in this project and it starts to see these levels down here, that's a good price to dollar cost average in, for me, if you believe in the project, because the alternative is that we just start to move up. If there's bullish news about this coin, then it's going to move up. But for now, I would be more than happy if it gets to $4 to $4.60, that's a good range for it to be at now. That's a good movement, because remember, this is going to start to come up over time as well. So even if you just plod along like this, that's another possibility for that coin. But again, it's a good chart. It's a good chart. It came below, it broke above, came below, it broke above. It's now sitting 313.7 is this fib level. And we're at 313 now, if I drag that over there. So we're exactly at this fib. If we have a good day today, I'd expect it to be at 377, probably. So that is all I've got time for today. I've got to go and record some videos. 12:06, and it's been a good show. It's been a good show. Thank you for all your comments. Don't forget, you can drop me an email as well. If you've got any questions, if you've got any queries, if you want us to look at your portfolio, make sure to send us a message. Bottom left-hand corner, 126,000 followers now. Trying to get to 200,000 by the end of the year. Another show tomorrow at 11 o'clock, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every day this week at 11 o'clock. Tonight, Brogan is doing a live trading show tonight. So make sure to bookmark that. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to go make some videos. If you haven't seen my ASI video about the merger of Fetch, Ajax and Oceans, you need to go and watch that video. It's done quite well. Gives you the time and the date of when that merger is going to happen. Thank you to Mags, to Reza, to Peter, to Diabliski, everybody else. Take care. I will see you all in the morning. Goodbye.